we've got a shower pump, 2 showers taken off that. Now the customer says that for this shower to work in the ensuite, he has to open this shower valve just to get the pump to kick in, so we need to sort that out. What's up guys, happy Monday. Thanks for tuning in to my latest video, the life of a jobbing plumber on its hopefully new home Monday night. Sponsored by Velocity Pro Gear tool bags and Tool Monster. I'm going to leave both the links to their sites in the description of the video, but if you're after a new tool bag, check out Velocity. They've got a massive range now. And then Tool Monster sell all the good gear: Nipex, Weira, Milwaukee, Velocity bags, workwear, steel blue boots, everything. If you use PB10 or Monster PB, one of those codes, you'll get 10% off. So this week's video, I've got a job with Marcus, a system boiler upgrade and an unvented cylinder install. Do a little bit of pipe work as well for a dodgy shower that was fitted in push fit. And last week I did a job, some taps for it was like an Airbnb job. And when I rang the merchants to order them, something didn't quite feel right, but I don't know, I just went with it. Anyway, when I got to the merchants, they gave me the wrong taps, which were literally half the price of the taps that I wanted. So then I had to mess about trying to find the taps I needed in stock, because I needed to do the job that day, and also work out what to do about the price. So yeah, hopefully enjoy it. Thanks for watching. If you've not subscribed already, please consider subscribing. Bang a like on the video, leave me a comment, I'll try and get back to you, and I hope you have a good week. Cheers guys, happy Monday. I was last here, so I didn't make the drive this morning. So today's job, Mark, Charlton Gas. Should be a nice one. So we've got a system boiler just here. This is coming out, and we'll have a Valent going in, and controls. Flow and return obviously go up to the airing cupboard, they're staying in because we're going to be swapping that for an unvented, but this is that part of the job. And then into the house. Oh, by the way, the new caps for installer show are here, check them out, love them. So we're just draining down, heating and hot water. Marks on the rads, so all the rads are being swapped. Some of them are going to be school radiators, column rads. And then up the stairs. Here he is, Gaffer. So a bit of a mess in here. We've got a shower pump, 2 showers taken off that. Now the customer says that for this shower to work in the ensuite, he has to open this shower valve just to get the pump to kick in, so we need to sort that out. Cylinder, open vented cylinders coming out, unvented cylinder going in. So there's a bit of pipe work to tidy up. There's the flow and return from the boiler there. So that's going on in here. And then we're just getting rads off. Here he is, here's Mark. Morning mate.
Morning Pete.
So Mark's on the rads. And then me and Marcus are going to break the back of this today. And then we'll do the boiler tomorrow. System flush.
System flush, new rads.
New controls.
Controls.
Just a nice job really.
Yeah. On
the hottest week of the year.
As always, why do we always pick it on this week?
I was thinking that, we always work together on the hottest week, don't we?
Yeah. That one we did the other year, last year, where it was literally about 35 degrees, sun beating.
In that loft.
What time did you want to get in the loft, Mark?
Well, as you've been out to Kenya, you should be thoroughly climatised, Peter. So I suggest that you're getting your little.
Thanks, mate. The cylinder's out. So we've got a rising main there. So at the minute we're just isolated here. This is the cold coming down to do the house from the tanks. That's tank fed cold. That's the cold that filled the cylinder, and then obviously the hot out that went to the shower pump, that T, and then you've got the hot supply to the house, and that's the vent pipe. So that will go. We'll cut that, take it back, isolation valve, that's coming out. So obviously we've got to fill the unvented, tidy this up. We've got the flow to the central heating system, return from the central heating system, and then flow from the boiler and then return back to the boiler. That picks up the return from the coil. Wiring centre, power for the immersion. So it's time to start tidying all this up. The shower pump, the two plastic pipes come up and they go up and they go down like that, which is, you know, no wonder there's bloody airlocks and it's not working. Then we've got cold feed.
It's on a skyhook.
Needs supporting.
Cold mains that will be coming out.
Cold
That'll be
mains.
coming out, to be
That'll
fair.
be gone, yeah. Vent pipe in the back
That'll
there.
be coming out.
And then
That's the old cold feed for the shower, I think. So that'll be coming out. But yeah, look at that, beautiful.
so yeah, most of this will be stripped out. Well, all of it really.
Love wrap.
What we're going to do with these shower pipes then?
Well, I don't know if we sort of bring them across, cut them, bring them across here,
Yeah,
and bring them in that way.
yeah, in the front.
Sort
Oh,
of
the
tie
lights
them
just
up a bit.
decided to come on.
And then maybe have put a couple of air vents in. Maybe it won't be too much of a problem because it's obviously mains pressure, but a couple of bottle vents.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
Gears just turned up. So we've got all the rads off. New rads have arrived. Cylinders out. Stripped all the, well, tried to strip all the plastic bits off the copper with the scrap man. It's only 10:30, so doing not bad so far. So we've got a cylinder in. All we've done on the boiler flow is put a pressed 28mm elbow on and extended it out so we can get to it because it was behind the cylinder. And then same with the hot and cold, we've just brought them up 2 new pieces of copper because now we can't get to them. So that's that. So here we've got our, this is our hot for the house. So that, my plan is we're going to go to the wall along here, T into that, T along, and then pick up these 2 for the shower. And then the cold's got the rising main, which is live now and isolated. Got these full bore butterfly valves. Into the multi-block, this is our balanced cold, which is going to come a little bit in front, pick this up, which is the balanced cold to the house, and then come along below the hot water that's going to be running above, underneath here to pick up the cold and the cold. And then we've got a T here, which is going to come down into there to fill the cylinder, and then up for the expansion vessel. Now what we've just done is put this sheet of, well, there's 2 sheets there of MDF, because you'll have been to them 1,000 times. People have an unvented cylinder installed, expansion vessel goes on the wall on a couple of fixings on plasterboard. They don't have this serviced. That fills up with water and then it falls off the wall. So because we've got this on, it's going to be rock solid. That cylinder is going to go nowhere when Marcus forgets to service it next year.
You've got it.
Basically, I just pulled these 2 out. The inserts are still in the fittings, so hopefully I'll be able to get them out, and we'll just have to have the copper tails sticking out because I can't get to them without making a hole in the wall or taking the shower valve off, which we don't want to do. Obviously I'm not getting paid for this, we just want it to be right. And then we've stripped out that plastic, so we'll have 2 new nice copper feeds coming down, 2 copper tails coming out there, and then I'll just get them this way to connect onto what we need to connect onto. And then I've also took that off, that was 15mm speed fit up to there, so I'll bring a nice bit of copper down, bend that into there, so I'll get this this tail out as well, which I can't do one end. Oh, let's come. There we go. Oh, and if you didn't know, as far as getting these out, all I'm going to do is try and grab it with a pair of grips, sort of twist it out a bit. It helps if you push this ring back while you do it, so try and do it with 2 hands if you can. I know some people get wound up when I do things with 1 hand, so persevere. I don't think I'm going to get this one out. Just got 2 copper tails in there now. Now, I don't know the official rules, but I've tried this on this elbow here, and a press street does go in. So if we watch there, it can't go any further because I tried it on one outside, so I'm happy that that's going to be okay. So that's going to go bend on a piece of 15 up into that. So we need a reducer in there, and then that's hot. So there's going to be a T on there, one coming this way, one coming this way, elbow up, and then this one's going to be into a T, up, down to below it to come across. I think that'll look the best. So I think you'll agree that looks so much better than what was in there before. Much more of a satisfying job. So then I took the hot and colds along, picked up the balance cold, that did the bath tap, possibly the toilet, and then the hot, which does the house, and the hot from the cylinder. And then I've got the expansion vessel on there, and that comes down, sort of dog-legged into the corner there, and then in to fill the cylinder up. Just temporarily wired it tonight so we can give them hot water. So that's pretty much that. We can turn the water back on now, and then we're going to mess about with the PRV, 6-bar pressure relief, and then the TPRV, and then we can do some of the heating stuff into these two connections here. So we've got these full-bore Pegler isolation valves. Call them butterfly valves, they're my favourite valves. So we're just filling at the minute. Obviously these for the hot coals for the showers, and leave them off for now, just don't need them on yet. Just want to make sure this gets filled and nothing leaks. Okay, so this last night we got this nice and hot. This is temporary, I think I've already mentioned that. So because we got the blow off done, the ton dish, that's through and all connected, then basically we should have, well, normally we'd have done this first, and then this would have been like an afterthought, but because we've done that first, got to get round it. So my idea is I'm going to put these street 45 bends in there, like that, which gives me almost a 90-degree angle. Come this way, bend, so I've got a nice swept bend to get us by that. This one here, the return, I'm going to bend that, get by here, and then it's got to get onto that return there. We don't need this air bottle, so that'll be cut out. And then my idea with the flow, same again, 90 to match this one so it looks nice. Come back here, then we'll have a T looking down to pick up the flow. T going this way with the 2-port on to pick up the central heating, and then this T at the top will have the auto air bottle in it to get any air out of the system, and I think that's what's going to look best. So I'm going to get on with that now. So I just made a start with the pipe work. Got to get a 2-port and obviously connect onto this, but there's so much solder down the pipe, it's going to be a nightmare to clean. So rather than cut it, I'm just sweating that off. So let's see if we can. Film it for you. Horrible. Right, moving on to the boiler, so I'm going to rip this out. We've got a standoff kit in case we are going to put the pipes behind, but we'll have a look at that when we take the boiler off and see what's going on. I think they actually do cross over, so obviously want to tidy that up. The gas goes up in there, and then to the gas meter, I'm just doing a tightness test on that now, and we're draining into that bucket just what was left in the pipes, not much. So just got a tightness test on there. Flue's been expanding, foamed inside and out, so that's going to be an absolute bitch to get out. So there's your expanding foam, neatly put in around the flue. It's even found its way inside the boiler. Fucking stuff. Actually, it wasn't that bad. There was foam all the way through, but I got my pad saw in. Yeah, I managed to pull it out. Yeah, unfortunately they've crossed them over, which means I've got to do the same. I'm not leaving that in. We've got a standoff kit, so we'll have to do it behind the standoff kit if we can, or we'll maybe go in the roof, swap them in the roof and come back down with 2 new pieces, but that's what we're left with. So obviously you've got the flow and return and the gas, PRV and the condense pipe, and then the filling loop as well. And then we'll need the bus cable to the boiler from the VR 77, I think it is, upstairs, which we'll be doing once the boiler, well, all the pipe work's done really. This is the old cylinder we took out. Have you ever seen anything like this? So what they've done is they've put a piece of 22mm copper into that tap-in on the cylinder. Even though there's a thread on there, they've soldered it in internally inside that. The only thing I can think of is, you see how it's sort of damaged there? This cylinder got dropped at the merchants and then they sold it off because it was damaged, and someone's thought, I'll have that cylinder for a tenner and I'm just going to solder a bit of pipe in it. That's the only thing I can think of. So I'm just in the roof space above the boiler, and you can see the 28mm primary flow and return elbowing down. What I'm going to do, because in a minute they just split off like that, cut them and then try and cross them over, so this one's this side, and then send 2 new pieces down. So literally 2 elbows in a socket. It's going to save a lot of messing around downstairs, and that took, what, 5 minutes? So now I've just got to get this one over the top. I have got a little bit of room, it does go over the top. I can't pull it, but it will go over the top. So come this way, over, and then down there. There we go, so that just needs lagging, and that's going to make it a lot neater downstairs. So just offered the fluids, hold that, a template on the wall. Template's not levelled or stuck on, but you can see it's a lot better job now. We've just got 2 new pieces of pipe coming down. We've got the boiler protection kit, so we've got a system filter to go on the return and a deaerator to go on the flow, which will go above the boiler, and then we can come down behind it and straight in. It's a standard wall bracket you get with the Valent. You use the one for the rear pipe kit, same holes, so those 2 holes there and the bolts that came with that, and then you just make this frame up. I think I've showed you this a few times now. Basically screw that together, and then that is going to hang on here like this. Let's see, I can't show you. There, that hangs, see on there, and then that enables our pipes then to disappear down the back. Obviously we've got the filters to put in, but they'll be straight down, which is a nicer job. So we've got, these are made by a company called Tesla, and this is an expansion vessel bracket. So basically you fix that to the wall, and you've got your inlet there. Sorry, well, depends how you put your tap-ins in, but basically you can pop your expansion vessel in. You can put a pressure gauge on it, a PRV on it, whatever you need, but it gives you more support, because like I said with the one in the airing cupboard upstairs, if they don't get serviced and they get full of water, they get heavy and they'll often pull themselves off the wall, whereas this is a proper unit. So I'm going to fit this now, tee into it straight after the boiler, and then put the filter, which is here above that. So that's my next job.
Yeah, which is a 400 gap.
Yeah.
But it don't, does it? Bully's boo-booed. Luckily, I've used core fixings to reuse them.
Having a nightmare with this rad. It looks well pissed off. Dug half the wall out.
So, that was there.
Yeah.
We've obviously got to move it that far up.
Yeah. Cheers!
I cut it. Now here you can just see there's some plastic capping, but I can't solder a fitting on it because there's literally a ton of air felt lagging behind that. So the minute my flame touches that, it's just going to up the wall. So real life plumbing.
Oh, mate.
I know. Please, please forgive me. If a manufacturer did some press that went onto this, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to have to put that in there because I really don't fancy setting fire to the wall behind there.
Cowboy. That's his for Alfin.
Still got it though when I need to. Just don't let Konex know.
Don't know if this counts as a tip or not, but I'm doing it, so I'm showing you. That's the centre of my boiler, and that is where I need my pipe centres to be for my flow and return. So all I've done is I've put a bend on this pipe with a socket on the end, and if I put that into there, like that, that will be where I want it to be. Yeah, happy with that. I'll do the same with this side, although this side it's not so much of a bend. So they're in place. Got this dropping down 15mm for the filling loop. So now I'm going to get the boiler on, and then I can do the gas, PRV and condense. And once the boiler's on, I'll get that vessel on there. So that's the boiler on. That's what we've got to line up with there. That and that one. That and that one. And then there's just going to be the flue to do. So in the kitchen, they've got some existing radiators, and for whatever reason, I don't know, this is how they're piped up, and the customer doesn't like it, so he wants us to alter the pipe work. So my idea is to find it in the wall, where it goes, and then try and tidy it up. Now, I don't know about you, but the last place I thought it was going to go was this way. I thought it was going to come down in the middle, split out, but they both go off to the left, so I don't know what's happened. Where that rad is, just to the right, there used to be a doorway, so they took the door out and made this kitchen an open plan. Now, what I'm demonstrating here is how an airlock works based on a radiator. So with the air pep or the air vent shut, the water stays in the rad. When I open it, it lets the water out into the bucket. Thought you'd like to hear that, if for those of you that aren't working plumbers. So my plan, we're going to into the wall, get the pipes up, and then elbow out into the valve. There is some electrical cables running along, which was a bit of a pain, but basically I cut where there was a nice piece of pipe, because a lot of time with 10mm it will get crushed and knocked, and then you won't have a nice round bit of pipe. So cut it back, cleaned it up, and then I've just put sockets on to extend it to the height I want, and then elbows coming into the room, and I'm just soldering them on. I don't know if anyone does a 10mm press yet, but it's so quick to solder 10mm. And that's what I've done. So they're in the wall now, up exactly where I want them to go into the rad tails. Now, to match all the other rads in the kitchen, this is how the customer wanted these valves. I would have personally bought angled valves to have them looking up, but we've reused the old valves, and these are matching every other rad in this kitchen. That's why they're in that orientation, but it's a lot better. The customer's really pleased.
You videoed me?
Yeah, just put the pressure on. Good. Don't worry, it'll be okay in the edit. I'm back in here, so we got the condense to connect, and the filling loop's got to connect onto there. And now my favourite bit, working out how many cables we've got, how many wires we've got, what wire does what. We've got that on the wall there, and then this programmer, let's go in. And then we've got the veiling gear to fit. Right, just done the condense pipe. I was really proud of that because I think that looks really good. It's nice and tidy, it's out of the way so you can get the trap out. What we're going to do now is work out cables we've got, what wires do what, in mind of fitting the Valent V Smart and the VR66 wiring centre. Now that's going to be going up in the airing cupboard. We've just got the program on the wall there. I'll work out what goes where, what we can reuse. Then what else we got to do? Fill it and flush it.
Fill it full flush tomorrow.
What flush are we doing? Thorough flush?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So thorough flush tomorrow, and then should be pretty straightforward. Commissioning. See you later. Giving the system a flush now. So we've got the obviously the deaerator and the dirt separator. Took them off, and we've got the adapters on now. I've shown you these before. Basically, you get an adapter that screws on to where your filter attaches, and then you put your flow and return from your flushing machine or whatever you're using to flush the system. Isolated the boiler, so it's not going through the nice new boiler, it's just doing the system. So up there, back down here. And we're using the thorough flush. Now, the advantages of the thorough flush, I'll keep this quick because you've seen this before a lot of times on my channel. If you've got decent water pressure, like here, we've got 1.5 bar going through that. It's great. It's cheaper, it's smaller, and we're using mains pressure water to flush out the system. Obviously, you can use a power flush machine. You've got an initial cost of the machine, probably 1,200, 1,300 quid. They're massive, so where you're going to keep it. This goes all into one nice little bag. No chemicals on this one. You have to use chemicals on the power flush. And then your other option you've got is your MagnaClean. Now, the thing about a MagnaClean is, MagnaCleanse, it attaches where your filter is, so it's nice and easy, but you have to have the boiler up and running. You have to use the boiler's pump to pump around the system to do the flush. So a MagnaCleanse is a lot different because the power flush machine and this thorough flush work independently of the boiler, so we can flush the system without the boiler. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, basically blasting mains water through, just coming out of here. I mean, the main downside to doing a flush like this, as opposed to a power flush machine, is you waste a lot of water, but it is what it is. We drop the magnet in there just so we can see what we're picking up. It's quite a clean system, all the rads are new, so basically we're just doing the pipe work. So go around each rad one by one, do this rad. Once we've done this one, we'll shut it and move around to the next rad. It's what?
It's all disconnected down here.
What do you mean?
I've had to disconnect it all to get the cables out.
In the kitchen?
Yeah.
I thought you were doing the boiler room. So
On the timer clock.
got a whole gang out this morning. So VR66 worked out what cable does what. So you see I've put 2 black lines on this cable and there's 1 black line on this one. So I traced it down. The one with 1 mark on this cable goes down to the programmer in the utility room, and this cable here goes all the way to the boiler. So what we need is our bus feed down to the boiler. So I'm going to send that on probably the red and the blue, and then this will be our live, neutral and earth coming up from the fuse spur to power this. Then everything else just plugs in, so the 2 ports plug in, central heating and hot water, and then our sensor, hot water sensor, which is that cable there, plugs in as well. And then we also need to plug in our 2 wires from the V Smart receiver. So just fitted a plug, well I say fitted, we took the fuse spur front off from the power, shower pump that was there and just put a socket on, because this plugs in on a socket. So that's what I'm messing about with now, but it'll take me 20 minutes and then we'll be done. It's on my 2 port. I've got grey, which is my permanent live, orange, which is my switch live to the boiler, brown, which is my switch live from the control, and then the neutral. We don't need the permanent live or the orange switch live to the boiler. All we're doing is putting our brown and blue in on the block. So this is the hot water zone valve. So on here I'm just going to use the live and neutral. So all that will do is when this decides we want a cool for hot water, it'll put a live onto there, which would have been our switch live on a normal S-Plan, and just open the valve and that's it. We don't need to send anything back down to the boiler. We don't need a permanent live, which in there on the circuit board, basically when this brown gets energized, it puts the permanent live from this onto there to send it down to the boiler. We don't need that, so we're just using that, and that'll be the same on the 2-port for the central heating as well. Okay, that's that done then. So we've got we've run a bit of trunking to keep these two tidy. That's the immersion feed and the NTC sensor, which is that. Pick up the V-Smart. The V-Smart comes back down. That's this one into the bus. What's that, mate?
Is that your pipe glass or the customers?
Customers. From the V-Smart into the bus, that then goes back down to the boiler, and then we've just got the power in and the 2-zone valves. Simple as that. So a little bit of work to do downstairs, wiring the boiler in, and then we're done. And then I'm just going to come back in here and lag all these pipes. Okay. So what I've done here, that was the old wiring sensor. The cable came down for the boiler. I've actually took it up in that trunking and along. These will get clipped to tidy them up a bit, but because I've got the rear kit, they go now behind and in. So we've got the bus cable there, that's going to go into there, and then the live neutral and earth into there, into this block. So once that's done, that's what's done in here. We're just finishing off. I mean, that magnet's been in there the whole time, so the system's quite clean. So we'll stop that when we're on the last rod. I think there's 2 more rads to do. If you've not seen this before, I've got bootlace ferrules, a crimper. You need one of these, and basically it crushes that onto the end of the cable, makes a nicer job. And you can also get, where are they here? These double ones. So if you need to take 2 into the same one, like if you had 2 earths, for example, you'd put that on and crimp it on, and it would have both in. It's just a nice way of finishing your cables off. And I just keep the most common sizes I use in there with my fuses and my shrink wrap to identify cables, and I just think it makes a nicer job. That one I've got is the what is it, Nipex, I think it's called a twister. How does it say it? It don't say it, but the model number is 975318.
Yep, got it.
Spillage.
Literally 10p short.
A lot of groaning going on. He's stressed out because we've had a problem with one of the radiators.
And I'm like an inch too short. And I've just put my head up here, and now my head's full of cobwebs. I feel like I'm on the Addams Family. There we
go.
Which one's level? Yeah.
Okay, so just got to put 2 you got some nylon clips and the cables.
Yep.
Get some lagging on, then get it commissioned. Well, I've just finished lagging this. Looks pretty good. Just a couple of tips to show you. So, for example, on this piece here, we've not got any, because it's not a long length, not got anything pushing it together. So what I do is get a panel pin, like a nail, and push them through the ends. And I'll do that on any joint where it's not quite tight, just to keep them together and make it look a bit neater. And then the other little tip was on this piece here. So because the pipe goes into the wall there, and we've got a big chunky speed fit in, nothing I could do about that. I've cut my piece a little bit longer and I've sort of scribed it around there. So when I put this on, like that, and join it in, it looks like that part's part of that one. It just makes it a bit of a nicer job in my opinion. So yeah, that's it, that all done now. It's all working. I'll just show you the boiler. And we are out of here. So while I was doing the pipe lagging, Marcus was commissioning it because he's an expert at that. Showing the customer how it all works. Yeah, we're done. Give us your honest opinion on this job. Started out alright, didn't it?
Yeah, it broke us really.
It's been horrible.
Yeah, just everything's been a nightmare.
You know when you've got a rad and you've only got to move the pipe like 20 mil either side, but to do that you've got to cut holes in the wall, solder. Oh my god, it just
Wiring, the heat.
Makes you want to just not be a plumber. But we're done now. Well, this is a little maintenance job for a new company I've started working for. They do like Airbnb properties. So the landlord wants both of these taps replacing with a very similar looking tap. They don't like these pop-up wastes. So I bought 2 new taps. I'll tell you a story about that in a second. And 2 clicker waste fittings, but I've just come and looked. They've already got them. So this has already been decommissioned. Now what I might do is if I've got the same ones, I'll leave this in and just replace this bit because they are a little bit, especially this one, a little bit stiff. So if I can just swap the innards, I'll do that. The taps, let me go and grab the new ones. Right, so these are the taps I got. Instinct, so you can probably guess the merchants I got them from. And the model is Hemworth monoblock basin mixer with click waste. So when I rang them up, I said I wanted this style tap without this, and I wanted a click waste. So this is the tap. When I got there this morning, that's not the tap they tried to give me. They tried to give me 2 separate single hole taps. So obviously I said, this is wrong, you've not given me the right tap. And I kind of got the gist of it on the phone, thinking the guy I was speaking to wasn't actually listening to me. But I did say I wanted a monoblock tap without the pull pop-up waste. I wanted a separate clicker waste. Yeah, we've got it. Now the price he quoted me for what he thought I wanted was about half the price of what these were. So 2 of these was almost double what he quoted me. So the issue I've got is I've already quoted the landlord. And it's obviously now it's going to be more. But the only thing I've got in my favour is when I priced the tap, I didn't know that the clicker waste came in the box. So I put on an extra 20 quid for these. So if you get me, basically I said to him, you're going to have to bring the price of this down. He brought the price of this down. With the price of this down and the fact that I'm not paying an extra 20 quid for that, I've almost broke even on what I quoted originally. So it's not as bad as it could have been. And even better, this is literally going to screw in there. Like that. So I've not got to bother taking the waste fittings out. I've just got to swap these 2 taps. So I am still going to make money on this job. This is the problem with this one. It's not popping up. But I should be able to unscrew it. I guess the lid will come off and then we'll have to unscrew the middle, yeah. That's the bit that's the problem. If we can get on that. I might have spoke too soon if this don't come out. Oh, here we go. Got it. Would have ended up swapping the whole thing. So if you didn't know, this part and this part are separate. Obviously that screws into there. So we'll give that a clean and then we'll get the new one in. So there's the new one. It's pretty much identical as that one. There we go. Done that one as well. I normally show you the Nerad Tapex kit, but today I'm using the weir and nut spinner. That's come off. hollow shaft. This one's 10mm, I think. Oh no, hang on. They do a 10mm, but this one is the 7/16. So I'm pretty sure you can get a 10, a 13, yeah, 13, and an 8, and then this one is the one in between, which is for some monoblock taps. Still attached. Okay, taps out. So if you didn't know about these, basically it's a hollow shaft, so that will go all the way onto there, and then depending on what size this nut is, you obviously choose the corresponding size, and that will do that, and it will tighten it all the way on up to there. They're just called nut spinners. Hopefully you can see this. So that's going to go, bearing in mind I can't see this from where I am at the minute, that's going to go up and then hopefully get onto that. Two of the quickest taps I've ever installed. Follow me, they've asked me to look at this lovely shower cubicle. We've got a hole there and a hole there. That looks to me like someone's put a chair in here and sat on a chair, and the chair feet have gone into the tray. Yeah, so that job wasn't as bad as it could have been, made up a lot of the time with the clicker wastes. So if I didn't explain it in the video, the landlord specifically requested that the pop-up wastes weren't reused and they wanted clicker waste installing, but when I got there someone had already disconnected the pop-up waste and swapped them for clicker waste, so I only had to change the internal, so that saved me a good hour of time. And also when I bought the new taps, the clicker wastes came in the box. I'd priced for them separately, so I'd allowed 20 quid for each clicker waste. So hopefully I about broke even, maybe made a tiny amount of money on it because I was so quick. But I put it on Instagram and a lot of people said that I should bill the merchants or make them honour the original price. Obviously in an ideal world they might be able to do that, but realistically, you know, it's a lad behind the counter. He was new to working there. I don't want to make him pay out of his own pocket for it. They brought the price down as much as they could. It's just one of them things, you just got to swallow it. Obviously, if it happened regularly, then maybe you'd have a word with them. But yeah, I don't know what I could have done any different. But by the time they brought the price down, I think they knocked about 20 quid off. And the fact that I didn't have to do the clicker waste and I'd allowed extra for them anyway, it worked out all right in the end. Let me know what you would have done though.